Traditionally, institutional shareholders either accept takeover bids or lobby for a higher offer. But Mr. Pearce said teaming up with bidders was something he would consider. Loading, if the opportunity arose, we would consider it with any asset, he told Fairfax Media. But at this stage, we're on the other side of the table to CKI. CKI like owning things 100%, so we don't think this is a possibility. In CKI's previous tilts at Australian energy infrastructure assets, Ausgrid in 2016 and the Duet Group in 2017, it made sole takeover approaches for total ownership. However, CKI also owns a 51% share of SAW Power Networks and Victoria Power Networks, with Spark Infrastructure holding the remaining 49%. Mr. Pearce has previously said he fully supported CKI carrying out due diligence. CKI has not yet outlined how it will work with major shareholders to gain support for the acquisition. Superstockist, an Australian banker who covers the energy and infrastructure sector, said industry funds like UniSuper have been more open to innovative investment structures in order to gain access to investments. "We're in a world where there's a lot of capital, but a dearth of investment potential," the banker told Fairfax Media. CKI is being cautious in its bid for up and has stated its willingness for greater regulation in the gas market. Photo, James Davies. They're struggling to find a home for investing in new assets, so we are seeing these funds increasingly push the envelope on the investment risks they'll take. Funds are looking to differentiate themselves from just having the capital and are now often willing to take a degree of commodity price exposure. Mr. Pearce disagreed with the banker, saying there remains many opportunities around the world. "Most of our recent big allocations have been offshore," he said, referencing UniSuper's recent acquisition of shares in major U.S. banks and financial institutions. Loading, we are quite agnostic when it comes to assets. It's all about the valuation and prospective value. UniSuper also owns stakes in other infrastructure and resource groups such as Sydney Airport, the Transurban Group, Woodside and Rio Tinto's. We are absolutely delighted with Sydney Airport and the Transurban Group. They're two of the best assets in the country, Mr. Pearce said. Fat Profits analyst David Lennox said any joint bid for up involving UniSuper, no matter how unlikely, would be difficult given CKI could have different priorities to the industry fund. You'd have to suspect CKI would be suspicious of working with UniSuper, as institutional investors are usually more passive in their investments, Mr. Lennox told Fairfax Media. Asked about Australian Super's takeover consortium approach with Healthscope, Mr. Pearce said it was not surprising. "They are a pretty rational investment company," he said. Beyond shareholders, he said it has also been engaged with federal regulatory agencies with regard to the proposal and supports increased regulatory oversight and transparency in the gas transmission sector. CKI's bid requires the approval of both the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission and the Foreign Investment Review Board. A source familiar with CKI said the company could be open to re-regulation of pipeline infrastructure to balance the market. City analysts said it is a politically sensitive topic and therefore consider the risks to deal completion to be particularly acute.